episode 256. It is, well, I guess we're going to release this on a Friday, so technically it could be Friday. I don't
Technically,
know.
technically, it's a Friday, probably,
Yeah, for
maybe.
you. Yeah, most likely. My name is Ben Bumhofer, and with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It really doesn't matter what day it is in Azeroth because boy, we are recording these out of order.
Boy,
Uh,
howdy are we.
we're recording on the wrong night. This is actually not the next episode that will air, but the episode after that. It's all messed up.
It's time travel.
Time travel.
Yes, we've changed the color of the portal in Blasted Lands again. Now it's a kind of a mauve color.
A Moav.
Mauve, yeah, it's kind of a
Moav Shadow
purplish.
Song. She hunts Illidan and moves us through time.
Yes, exactly. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the reasons why we're doing this way out of order and everything is that I'm going to be out of town next week. And in lieu of just having absolutely nothing for you guys to listen to, we thought, hey, let's make something for them to listen to.
Yeah, something some of you might enjoy.
And if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll see you after that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you choose to come back, which, we'd like it, but, whatever.
I would hope that they wouldn't be like, no, they did one episode that didn't interest me and I'm done forever.
True, considering we have people who are like, you've done 100 episodes that don't interest me. I'm going to keep listening.
Yeah, yes, that is true. And hello to you all as well.
Yes.
Thank you for continuing to
All of
anger
you.
listen to the show.
Exactly. So, in lieu of a normal, World of Warcraft episode, we are going to dive into something that's, we touch on every now and then in the show. And if you, listen either between the lines or to the before or after, or heck, even during the show, there might be something that John and I are interested in that's, we totally keep it a secret, right?
Yeah, we can finally talk about it. It's time for us to come out of the closet. We like superheroes.
Yes. And that being said, we also like comic books and movies based on them.
The trifecta.
Yes. Superheroes, the comic books, and the movies.
Superheroes, the comic books, and the movies that they're based off of.
Yes.
Wait, that's the other way around. But anyway.
Whatever.
It just sounded like a good headline. Speaking of comic books, Ben, before we get into the movies,
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because we used to talk shop New Comic Book Day every week. Wednesday we'd go to the store. What are we buying? It'd be just what are we buying, but the Resident Evil fan in me wants to keep running with that. And
what do you sell it?
I'll buy that at a high price. But what are you reading these days, comic book wise?
Honestly, I'm a little behind. Bills kind of hit and saving money for stuff. So luckily, March is a 3 paycheck month, so I'm going to be catching up hopefully.
Nice.
But for the most part, what I've been actually reading has been Amazing Spider-Man, which is pretty much a staple for me.
Right.
Spider-Man, which is the continuing adventures of Miles Morales. Mighty Thor, because holy crap, she's awesome. And Runaways, I started, since that started back up, I started picking that up again. And that's kind of as far as I've gotten, but like I said, I'm a bit behind on a lot of those titles. Oh, I'm also reading Back to the Future and Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor.
Nice.
Very How cool. About you? I know that our tastes are slightly different.
Yeah, a little bit, but they overlap in places. I definitely am reading more books than intended. I mean, I guess that's the way it goes, is you say I'm only going to buy X, and then next week you're buying X and Y, and then the week
X-Men.
after that, yeah. Speaking of, I just started a new book, which is X-Men Red, which has been incredible for the entire one issue that has come out so far. But
I will have to look into that then.
Yes, it's very, very good. Like if
I heard Jean Grey's back.
She is back. But if you like X-Men stories where it is about, hey, we need to forge a positive, good world, and we need to take steps to do that, and you believe that the X-Men mission should be less about, blasting each other with stuff and more about, understanding your fellow human beings and embracing differences and all of that, it is a good book for that.
Oh, well, hey, you know what? I enjoy those types of things.
Yeah. So that's really good. I also read Amazing Spider-Man. I have not loved it lately, but Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so there's a bit of an obligation there.
New writer coming soon, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I like Dan Slott. I just have not enjoyed the recent run. So it's
I haven't read like pretty much the last 4 or 5 issues. Like ever since he did his mopey I don't have a company anymore issue, I haven't read it.
I will say that today's was pretty good, the newest one.
Okay, cool.
He interacts with Loki.
Yeah, I saw the cover.
Loki
I'm
makes
kind of excited
better.
about that. Like literally, or just him being around, it makes it better.
But more on that later.
Oh.
No, but I read that. I read Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, I think is what the full title is.
I started that too.
And that is great. That is an extremely funny and entertaining book that manages to, when it decides to do something very serious, go really good places. Probably my favorite book on a not week to week, on a month to month basis.
Issue basis.
Yeah, there you go. Is All New Wolverine, which has just been a little ray of sunshine in my life.
Yeah, I think I need to catch up on that and maybe pick up a trade or two. I was having an issue like kind of following some of the stuff with the whole Secret Wars thing that was happening, and I just kind of fell off of a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. But it is so good. Gabby is one of the best Marvel characters in the world. So is Jonathan, the actual Wolverine, or an actual Wolverine.
You mean a... Okay, whatever. Let's just keep going.
Anyway, it's a lot. I'm probably not going to go down the whole list because there's a lot I get on a week-to-week basis. But those are kind of the big titles, and it illustrates the next point that I want to make, which is Ben and I are huge Marvel fanboys.
Yes.
Actually, and just to cut what I just said, also Batman has been amazing. And I've been hooked on Wonder Woman. So I've just made myself a liar.
No. You're still, I would say, a Marvel fanboy. It has to do with the writing of those specific characters and the stories that are being told.
Yes. So I'll throw those out there real quick. But obviously, Ben and I have a huge Marvel bias. So at least understand that as we go into this discussion.
Yes.
I don't think people will walk away saying, oh, that would have been totally different if they weren't such Marvel fanboys, but maybe.
Well, some people say that.
Yeah. But, man, this year, dude.
It's been a really good year.
You and I just established we are the biggest fans of Spider-Man. He's our favorite superhero. And I'm not going to put words in your mouth. But in a year where basically perfect, I have one major nitpick with it, Spider-Man movie came out. It's not in my top 2 favorite superhero movies this year.
See, that's kind of the same with me. I mean, it's fighting for number 2. Like, it's a really good fight for number 2. But I don't know if it is. But then again, there's that one too. God,
I see.
You know what? I'm not gonna rank them. It's not the best superhero movie that came out this year, which I never. Well, okay, after Spider-Man 3, I could see myself saying that again. But based on the movie that we saw, I didn't think I would be saying that.
I know, not in a world where you saw a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It was a crazy, crazy good year for superhero movies.
Mostly.
And so far, it looks like maybe 2018 might be the same, because Black Panther is getting a lot of awesome buzz already, and I can't wait to go see it, except I have to, because you're going to be out of town. But we should go see that movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Um,
I'm usually up to seeing Marvel movies multiple times.
Sweet. Is that your way of saying you're going to see it while you're gone?
We'll see. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay. um, so why don't we actually start with Spider-Man? Now, we did an episode dedicated to Spider-Man.
A whole episode.
So you can hear our thoughts in depth, but now that we've had some time, probably multiple viewings, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How are you feeling on Spider-Man?
I love that movie.
It's quite good.
Yes. The little nitpicks that I had when we discussed the episode, I'm not even going to come or try to bring them up right now. They still kind of stay in place, but I got to say, I still love that movie. It's way more fun than I thought it could be.
It really was, and it was, I think it was probably the best of what I'm hoping becomes a trend for superhero movies in general, which is it has a really good villain, which is not something you get to say about these movies often.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even though in the other Spider-Man movies, the villains were pretty, some of them. Okay, so Doc Ock was really good.
Yeah.
The Vulture came across in such a good way and so nuanced and everything like that it added a ton to the story, which I never thought I would enjoy a Vulture story like this, much less a Tinkerer story, much less a Shocker story. Like the villain bloat and the character bloat has been happening in Sony based movies for so long that all it takes is Marvel to kind of put a touch in there, and they don't focus on the backstory of every villain, and then they all get their thing, and then everybody teams up for reasons that aren't actually there and stuff like that. So the fact that actually Scorpion was technically in it too. I mean, like they built a world that was, I mean, granted off of the MCU, but if you really think about it, not that much of it was. It still had, Spidey's own little neighborhood in there, and it really worked.
Yeah, he had his own micro universe in a lot of ways. You know, there were a lot of characters that just we would never see in a Marvel movie except in this situation. And it was really cool. And so it felt connected, but also a bit independent at the same time.
Yeah.
And I will tell you another prime example of a villain this year that I think was done well, because I'm looking at the list. Because villains for me in general are usually the weakest link of these movies, and we're still not batting very good. So I'll tell you the other two villains that I think did well.
Okay.
Joker in the Lego Batman movie.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad that you do count that as a superhero movie, because I wasn't sure if we were going to or not.
We are absolutely counting it, because
dang
it, that movie deserves some recognition.
Yes, it does.
Seeing as apparently we all like Boss Baby more than it.
Oh my god.
It's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't have Netflix say, hey, you need the Emoji Movie. You'd like it.
Ugh.
God, that pissed me off when I saw that.
But Lego Batman Joker in that is fantastic. Another strong portrayal of Joker.
Yes,
in a history of mostly strong portrayals of Joker. And the other one I would say is Thor Ragnarok.
I am gonna say I actually really enjoyed Ego. I thought he actually worked really well as a villain, because, I mean, granted, as an audience member, yeah, you think something's up with him the entire time. But, like, his whole plot, what he was actually doing and everything, it was very believable to me, and I actually really liked how the story played out. And the thing is like, when I first saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'm like, okay, I enjoyed it. Then I kind of saw it again, liked it more, and then after I bought the soundtrack and listened to it a couple times, then watched the movie, then it was like everything just clicked, and that movie became like so much more to me, which is kind of the deal with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. The music is such an integral part of the whole experience. But even so, I actually really thought that Ego was an interesting character, much less had a plan that made sense to him.
I can see that. I think for me, he suffers, and not in the most egregious way of the list, but he also suffers from kind of compelling until he just becomes a bad CGI villain in the end.
Okay. Okay, you know what? I can accept that as very good criticism.
And that part bummed me out because I do agree with you. I think up to that point, he
Mhm.
was pretty interesting. Now granted, he's based on a comic character, Ego the Living Planet. At a certain
Yeah.
point, Kurt
He's
Russell's
got to be a planet.
going to be a planet, and this is going to be a thing that we're going to have to buy into. So
Mhm.
we were kind of going to go there. But, and I think there would have been people who, if he was never a planet, would have been like, but he's Ego, the Living Planet.
Yeah.
I just think that he did suffer from the point of like, okay, cards are on the table. Now I'm a CGI villain and I'm going to just roar at you.
Okay, I'm good with that. I will agree with you about Hela though. Holy crap. Like,
Hella was
okay, in a movie where pretty much every character could be the starring character of the film, like she stands out.
Yeah.
And that is saying a lot.
Yeah, Hela is one of my. I think Vulture is ultimately better because I think he's ultimately more compelling.
Hmm.
But Hela was. I'm not gonna lie. I had a mad crush on Hela through the entire movie.
Okay,
Um,
it was the headdress, wasn't it?
it was badass through the entire thing. Like, she was so freaking cool. And not to mention that, just to go, get off villains for a brief moment, but just to talk about something that I don't think we talked about with Thor Ragnarok, which is that scene where you see the fall of the Valkyries.
Oh yes.
Like, here's Taika doing a silly, fun movie that is right in his wheelhouse.
Hmm.
And then out of nowhere is this scene that looks like art brought to life.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is. It's a nice 16th century painting of this battle, but oh no, it's real.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, and like that's the kind of CG that is perfect.
Yeah, I loved that scene. And just Hella through that whole movie. I mean, she doesn't get a lot to do besides be, tough and badass, but
Hmm.
I'm
But the
kind
thing
of
is
okay with
that's her
that.
character development of, oh, I'm just gonna kill everything,
Yeah,
and
there
you're like, okay, that okay.
there
It's like that
is
was
no
what she was
arc
designed for.
for her. And it's
Yeah.
okay if your villain doesn't have an arc. It's okay for your villain to be villainous through and through from beginning to end. I think that's okay.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what she was, and I was good with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And so in case I don't think we've ever actually said it on air or anything, but Thor Ragnarok is one of the best movies that came out last year, much less one of the best superhero movies. It was by far one of the best movies.
Yeah, and I really did not expect it. I guess I kind of did. It was the one I was the most looking forward to.
Yeah, and that was based off of originally just the preview, wasn't it?
It was even before the preview. It was just knowing the director.
Oh, okay.
Because I had seen What We Do in the Shadows, and
So good.
I was just like, this dude is making a superhero movie, a big blockbuster superhero movie.
And they're letting him do what he wants?
I am 100% in on this, and it was everything I wanted it to be.
Hmm. Oh yeah. And the thing is uh, essentially with that you said, "Hey Ben, you just need to see this because you got to see it on a preview."
I did.
And I am so happy I saw it. I think I ended up seeing it, I think 3 times in the theater. But I mean, oh my gosh, it was just a whirlwind of fun and excitement and action and like serious repercussions for the MCU like happen in this movie and everything. And the whole time you're just kind of, along for the ride and it was probably one of the fastest movies I've ever seen, or I saw last year. You know, you're sitting down, the movie goes all the way through, and you're like, oh, that was like what, 2.5 hours? I had no idea.
Yeah, it flies by. The movie is just it's just ridiculous. I still
Mhm.
find myself thinking of quotes from that movie and just laughing about them for no good reason except that movie was just hilarious, and it still managed to be sincere, and it still managed to be genuine, and it felt like it was a part of the Marvel universe in a logical way. I mean, Doctor Strange is in there, and the
Mhm.
cameo doesn't feel totally ridiculous. I mean, we're in a world where he's supposed to protect the world from magical threats, and here's Loki and Thor tooling around town looking for Odin in an old folks' home. It only makes sense that he would intercede in something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, so all of a sudden it's connected, and you're seeing those interactions, and you're seeing how it all ties together, and it just
Oh my gosh,
felt
the
really cool.
Mjolnir just flying through the mansion. Oh, sorry. I get sidetracked with that thinking of this movie sometimes.
It is a fantastic movie. I
Mhm.
loved every bit of Thor Ragnarok. It's part of the reason why this year is so hard, is
Yeah.
because these movies are so extremely different from one another. Like, I get people out there, and maybe there's people who are listening that are like, well, I'm going to give you guys a chance even though I hate superhero movies. I get superhero fatigue. I
Mhm.
do
Oh yeah.
understand it. I think we both had it going to see Justice League because we knew it was going to be a quote unquote superhero movie.
You know what? I kind of agree. And okay, so before you go, Marvel fanboys, we need to say first off that Wonder Woman was absolutely spectacular.
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman will get her due, I think, as
Yeah,
we talk
but
about these.
I just need to get that in there before we move forward with this,
Yeah,
so that people will actually listen to this part.
it's a good point.
Um, yeah, it. So okay, there's two big differences to me, between Marvel Cinematic Universe and the Justice League Cinematic Universe. First of all, Marvel, I think, did it the correct way and slowly built up before they did their team up movie. And I mean, Justice League had a couple misfires, and I mean they really tried, and then finally they basically said, okay, F it, we're just gonna make Justice League now. And then okay, so we've seen Superman in two movies, we've seen Batman in one, we've seen Wonder Woman in one. So I mean it's kind of enough if you have like a vague understanding of these other characters.
Right.
So it's like okay, cool. But where most of the Marvel movies, like, they have heart, they have character to them, and like the superheroes themselves, it's one of the big things, or one of the big reasons why I like Marvel Comics versus DC Comics, is that the characters themselves are the things that you're actually like identifying with and enjoy, and you love to hear their stories. Whereas DC, the characters aren't their secret identities, they are the spectacular, like, godlike figures and stuff. And I've just never really been able to identify in those situations very much. And yeah, I mean, Batman's awesome and everything. I will never identify as Batman because I'm not a billionaire. I, thank God, haven't had my parents killed in front of me. But even more so, it's like him as a superhero, he doesn't really have problems. Whereas, you know, stuff happens to the Marvel people, like bad stuff, and they kind of fight through and persevere and stuff like that. And it just, Justice League just doesn't have the heart that I've come to expect from superhero movies, thanks to Marvel.
Yeah, I'm going to speak mostly to the movie because, as I mentioned, there's a few DC books that I'm really into, and
Yeah.
I would say that the reason I'm into them is because they do exactly what you're saying you like about Marvel.
Hmm.
Um, I think so. I can already see DC fans being like, it's totally in the comics, and I would agree with them. I think it is. I think in the movies they have had a much harder time showing that. Because I'll say this, like, here's my weird thought. As you were saying that, you're like, well, they built it wrong, and I'm inclined to agree with you. But I thought the Flash was the best part of that movie, and he's the one we don't have any history of.
Well, and the thing is he's the one that I can actually relate to. Like, the entire movie, he's, smart alecky kid who geeks out about meeting superheroes. I mean, that was just endearing and great, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm with him.
That's true. And so they did find, at least with him, a common ground that audiences can quickly glom onto and understand. But I think my biggest problem with Justice League is it's just paint by the numbers, and it's not particularly interesting numbers. Like, it felt like they wanted me to like it simply because look who's in it.
Yeah.
And most of my excitement was because, hey, Wonder Woman's in this movie. I'm very happy about that. So mission accomplished there. The problem is that then you have to keep my interest with something, and they just didn't have anything to hold it with.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like you said, Flash is cool. He was enjoyable and everything. What do you need to know about the Flash? He's fast.
Yep, kind of a nerd. He's fast.
Yeah. Then we have, Aquaman, which, I mean, the big joke about Aquaman is he just talks to fish. And, I mean, he's kind of just thrown into this whole thing just kind of haphazardly, if you ask me about it.
I think it's done really poorly, because what can you tell me about Aquaman in this movie?
He is full of one-liner dude bro talk, and that's about it. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I absolutely love is that, Bruce Wayne goes to talk to Aquaman, who has absolutely no need whatsoever to really do anything until people, show up and steal their bit of the cube. I don't even, like, the mother cube or something like that. Whatever. And then he's like, I guess maybe I'll help. But that the only time that he's ever going to show up is when you find out that they're going underground by, like, under the river or whatever. It's like, I bet it's going to breach and Aquaman's going to show up because he's in water.
Hey, a water situation happened. Maybe it's time for Aquaman to decide we're all okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like, I really felt like he was just tacked on. And by the way, I also have a really big issue with him talking to the Queen or whoever that was, but needing to create a giant air bubble to do it. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world.
Were they supposed to be in Atlantis at that point?
That's Atlantis, yeah.
Is that how Atlantis works? If you want to have a conversation, you conjure an air bubble?
Yes. At least that's how it was portrayed, and that's my understanding of it, because that is the worst thing in the world. I don't want to just rag on Justice League this whole time. No, we're not going
to. But at the same time, like, I have no idea what that conversation was about, because I was so distracted by what was going on and what I was seeing that I stopped listening to them. And I was like, she's motivational speeching, I guess, but I don't know what's happening in this scene.
I don't really remember, but I think it was something along the lines of like, you need to go stop that.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
I'll tell you, I think Cyborg could have been one of my favorite characters in this movie.
Had he been a character.
He seemed to be well acted.
Yeah.
He seemed likable. I liked the choices that the actor made for him. I like that he was very, like, I don't know what
he went through like monster syndrome.
Yeah, and I thought that was an interesting take. Again, my problem, I spent the entire movie looking at him like, why do you look like a weird doll man?
A lot of it was like, you look like a Transformer that hasn't been painted.
It was really distracting. And it was distracting enough to where I lost the entire thread of what he had to say and what he had to do. And
even more so, I would have loved background on him, because all we get is his dad experimented on him, and now he's turning more and more into a robot.
Yeah. He would have been a great character to get more of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was a bit rough. But there are 2 DC movies technically on the list that we did like a lot.
Well, first of all, overall, yeah, I'm sorry, Justice League did not live up to any sort of positive reviews that we saw. So
it's the only one I don't want to say I didn't like it.
Let's put it this way. I'm glad that I saw it.
I'm completely neutral to that movie is how I feel about it. It didn't offend me. It didn't make me feel anything positive. I just am completely in the middle of like, oh, I went and saw a movie. There are things I wish I liked this movie.
Well,
but I don't hate it.
One last thing too, I think that it wasted Wonder Woman.
It did.
And it wasted the time between Justice League and the Wonder Woman movie. Like all that time in between there, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
She wasn't a superhero in between those 2 points. It pissed me off.
Yeah, so don't expect to ever see any interesting stories about her during that time period.
Yeah.
We can cover before, which is what we're doing, and maybe we can do after at some point, but because in the middle.
Before, during World War I, she kicked so much ass.
Yes.
That movie's so good.
Yeah,
Until the end.
Yes. So I have a huge problem with the very end of that movie, but it is darn near perfect up to that point by my approximation. It revitalized my love for that character because Wonder Woman and Batman were kind of the only DC characters I cared about originally. And then DC Comics got on this weird kick where they really glommed onto the notion that Wonder Woman was the one of the 3, in the trinity of their big heroes that would be willing to kill people. And somebody pointed that out, and that suddenly became her character. And she went from how she was to just this vicious, like, I play by my own rules kind of character. And at that point, I was like, oh, I guess I don't like Wonder Woman anymore, you guys. I guess
it kind of makes a big difference there.
I guess that's over. And this movie just reinvigorated that character and brought it back, and it's reflected in the comics now, too. So it's been revitalized in comics and in movies, and I couldn't be happier because that is such a wonderful... It just felt like what I needed this year. Like, I don't want to get into the politics and all of that, but a hopeful, positive, care about each other. Like, yes, we all have faults. Yes, we all have problems, but let's embrace it. Like, that kind of character is exactly what I wanted to see a movie about this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I got, and it made me very happy.
I'm with you on that. It was I mean... I'm almost speechless at this point. It was great, absolutely great, and like some of the better moments of that movie have absolutely nothing to do with superheroing, and I love that. Like after they liberate that town, it's one of the best like superhero scenes. I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
The her crossing no man's land. Is just, I could watch that scene every day and just feel good. The part where she realizes that the sniper can't kill anybody anymore. He can't shoot. And he says he's gonna leave, and she tells him, but then who would sing for us?
Yeah,
like
that it like makes a little tear come out every single time.
It made a lot of tears come out the first time I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, she doesn't care that he can't do this. It's just that he's a good person. And like, yeah, that movie is really special, and I wish it had a different ending.
Yeah. I will say too is that it's a fish out of water story that works because, there's so many different fish out of water stories that are out there that, you just kind of see how it happens, what what's gonna, everything's telegraphed. And with this, you still kind of know what's gonna happen, but at the same time, it's so endearing to you that it just works in a way that a lot of those don't. I don't know. Am I like sounding crazy or?
No, you're right. I got a little distracted because I had an odd thought.
Okay.
I think that if you want to pass yourself off as not a villain, you should grow a mustache. Because if I learned one thing from Wonder Woman, it's that the idea of a mustache on a villain is ridiculous to me.
And seriously, why did Lupin have to be the villain in that? It was no good.
As soon as I saw that the mustache stayed after he turned into, hey, spoilers and surprise, a CGI monster.
Oh, that's what happened.
When I saw the mustache stayed, that was it for me. I was just like, oh, he is no threat. As he's like knocking her around and pinning her down, I was like, I don't know, he looks dumb. He's not gonna win. He looks so goofy.
Yeah, and so all that aside, I really wish that Patty Jenkins was the one who actually directed Justice League, because I think that she would have actually, had a better time making the character that we've loved already, like, feel like it was the same character.
Yeah, I'm glad she's doing Wonder Woman 2. I can't wait for that movie. That's going to be one of my most anticipated for 2019 or whenever it comes out. But
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, she just brought so much to that, and you could tell. Just avoid crazy CGI bad guy endings. If we can avoid that, we'll good.
Non-Patty Jenkins crew costume design for the Amazons. I just have to throw it out there. That pissed me off too.
It's pretty bad. It was
really
it was
bad.
Noticeable. Like, yes, yeah. I saw the articles, but I'm not even kidding. I would have noticed even if I hadn't.
Same here.
I was like, what are they wearing right now? As soon as I saw them, it could have been because I also had seen Wonder Woman fairly recently before I went. But as soon as I saw the Amazons in Justice League, I was like, what happened?
Oh, that pissed me off. But so speaking of Justice League characters, when they're made of bricks, surprisingly, they're really good.
That's a good transition, Ben. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Did you expect to like the Lego Batman movie?
Not as much as I did. So I was a big fan of the Lego movie, even though I still think that it was like way overhyped for what it was, but still had fun and enjoyed it and everything. So I'm like, okay, cool, Lego Batman, voiced by Will Arnett. I'm all in. And then it turned into this crazy movie that, of course, mixed a ton of different Warner Brothers properties together and stuff. And I gotta say, Michael Cera as Robin was so great.
Rip. Yeah, man. This one did surprise me a lot because I like the not the Lego Batman movie. The Lego movie.
Do like the Lego Batman movie.
I do like that too. But I like the Lego movie more than you. I think it did live up to its hype for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that Batman was maybe my least favorite part of it, which not in like a big detracting kind of way. I thought he was good and goofy. But like, if you tell me, hey, we're making an entire movie based around him, like my gut reaction was like, oh, really? Like, I kind of got sick of his thing pretty quick. And now you're going to make a whole movie about it? I don't think that's going to work very well. And I was very happily proven wrong because it not only was a good movie, it was a good Batman movie, and it was a good homage to everything I love about Batman.
It was a good homage to everything Batman, period, too. Literally everything Batman.
Yes, the occasional times where he just breaks it down and just full-on acknowledges how long he's been doing this, which makes him insanely old. I love it.
Plus, I love the fact that they had all of those like horrible and like bad guys and stuff. Like the Condiment King.
Condiment King.
It's real.
Kite Man.
Yeah, just everything all thrown together in that. And like when he goes to see the Batmobile, you have all the different Batmobiles from like, tons of different comic versions, the movies, all that. They reference Batman Returns in it, talking about like, the yellow ducky car and stuff. And just there's so much about it that just screams, hey, remember this about Batman? We do too.
Yeah.
Look.
We're way into it.
Yeah, and I mean, just the idea that he's reheating lobster thermidor in a microwave while wearing his cowl.
And it's come full circle. They have referenced lobster thermidor in the comics now.
Oh, nice.
The newest Batman arc references it, and the Telltale Batman game references it. It's really good. It's feeding its own legend in a lot of ways at this point. But you feel like, okay, these were people who cared about the character. These were people that cared about the subject matter. And we're just going to dive in and we're going to do it. And even dumb little things like the movie is insanely rewatchable because they throw so many references and jokes in there. Like the second time I was watching it, they're talking about times Joker's plans failed, and Batman says like that time with the boats, and it just didn't click. Like it was just such a small little comment of like that time with the boats, and then I was like, oh, it's a reference to the Dark Knight and the time with the boats, literally the time with the boats. And I
love the reference to the parade down the street where he's throwing out the money to the Prince music. And
yes, it was a love letter to Batman and to anybody who has followed that character and watched the movies, even in a passing way. Like there was so much to enjoy in it.
Definitely. And I mean, one of the greatest things is that it really taught Batman that it's true. You can have a family.
You can.
Yeah. And sometimes it's weird how a family can kind of come together, like in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good split.
Thanks.
I need to give this movie a couple more watches, I'm going to say, because I started very, very warm on this movie. I liked it a lot. And the more I thought about it, the quicker I went cold on it very quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got myself into a place where I had seen it once, and I really loved it. I then went and saw it a second time. I liked it, I would say. And then in the time between then and the next time I started watching it, I got to the point where I was like, I don't know if I really liked that movie that much.
Oh, wow. Because it's seriously totally opposite for me.
But I will say this. I started watching it on Netflix again, just as I needed something to put on, and I put it on. And I was instantly reminded how enjoyable it was. So I don't think I'm as cold on it as I think I am.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, you know what it is? It's because one of the last things that you get is the CGI bad guy, so you're just like, oh, screw this.
It's true.
And just ended there.
I think about that scene a lot, and it's not my favorite part of the movie. But some of that stuff, the Baby Groot opening, dancing around while they're fighting, I
just love the little tiny bits too. She's like, Groot, get out of here. He waves, hi. And then Groot just flies off and shooting.
The scene where Yondu uses the arrow in the prison is just...
Well, it's on the ship, but yeah.
Yeah, on the ship.
Yeah, that is
so good.
One of the coolest choreographed things in that movie. And I'm serious when I say listen to the soundtrack a couple times. There's like 1 or 2 songs I'm not too big on, especially the end credit stuff with David Hasselhoff, and then like the other almost disco song in there. But get a little appreciation for the music a bit, and then see it plastered together with the movie, and it it just it's like leveling up to a different like phase of the movie. I don't know. I can't describe it. I probably sound like someone who's like staring at a blacklight poster, high on shrooms, listening to like Pink Floyd or
You
something.
just gotta appreciate the music, man.
But seriously, it adds so much. Like, yeah, okay, so you get the awesome thing with Groot and Mr. Blue, and it's a cool opening. But then, um, just as everything shifts, and you just kind of go along with the whole thing, all the way to the end with the Yondu's funeral and stuff. I mean, it's like that tears me up when I watch that every time, and it's great. I love this movie.
Yeah, I think I need to give that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this might end with us trying to put these in a order of some kind.
I don't know if I can do
But
that.
you're gonna have to try. Um, but I'm gonna even say that, like, as hard as you're going to have doing it, I'm gonna put a giant asterisk next to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because my feelings have shifted so much, and I think it's actually a lot higher than I'm giving it credit for currently. I need to
Yeah.
watch it a couple more times.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even more so, opinions can shift, and I don't blame you if it's something that it turns out, oh, thinking on it more and stuff, it just didn't really gel with me, because I've had that happen before.
Well, and also keep in mind too that, like, when I say cool on it, I'm still talking about a movie I really liked. There's only one movie on this list that, as I said, I'm indifferent to. I don't hate it. Um, Beyond that, once you get past that one, I like all of these movies. Some of these movies I love,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the differentiation comes in. But I like every single one of them at the very least.
So here's the thing. There's one we haven't touched at all.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure it's because we agree where it goes, and that's why we had to kind of give everything its due before we even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay. While it's not perfect, it's the best one.
Yeah, it's the best one. I really struggled saying that, but I shouldn't because I'm very happy this movie
I know where you are with it.
was exactly what I wanted it to be, and it was so good and I loved it, but it's still so weird to say that Logan was my favorite superhero movie this year.
I know, right? Last year, but yeah.
Last year. It's
Okay, so
2018 now.
let me put it this way. It's touched me in a way that, like, I think about it a lot, and I've only seen it once because I don't know if I can. Like, this is one that I can't watch over and over again. It's incredibly good, but it weighs on you in such a way that you feel every bit of this movie.
I've seen it 3 times. My life is a depressing shell.
I guess. But so okay. Um First of all, low points of Logan. Um villain's not the best.
No, it's a CGI version of Logan.
There's a theme here, John. Yeah, so yeah, villain's not the best. That's pretty much the low point if you ask me. The only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz I mean, everybody acts their butts off in this movie, and it shows. And oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, with regards to the villain, I think what gives this movie a pass, like in other cases where we're like, hey, this movie didn't suffer from this, but then this one did. What gives this movie a pass versus the others is I don't think the villain was that important to the story.
I completely agree, and that's why it's the low point, because you didn't need it to be. Yeah. And I mean, Patrick Stewart's final, foray as Xavier was just good, and knowing the character that he has been and what he's turned into in this movie and everything it's so heart-wrenching. but it plays out incredibly well. And like I like that it's a near future movie that isn't like flying cars. It's, oh, that car looks a little different than normal, but hey, it's still a car. You
Yeah.
know, like just the little tiny touches of stuff like that were something that's kind of neat. Like the tech that was used seems believable for the most part.
Yeah,
And
there's nothing in it that makes you go, "Oh my gosh!" Like the closest they get are the auto trucks, and
yeah,
that's about it.
and that seems very, very feasible
Yeah.
because I mean we've got self-driving cars right now, so yeah. I don't need to explain technology, but anyways, Hugh Jackman did the best performance he's ever done as the character, of course, but still, I mean, he's embraced Wolverine for quite a while and has really done, you know, the character justice in so many different ways. But essentially being Old Man Logan in this has like risen the character up so high in at least the, you know, the movie version and stuff in my eyes. And it's like as much of as Wonder Woman is a, you know, a pretty much a perfect superhero movie, this is a perfect, well, almost a perfect film. It
Yeah.
just happens to have superheroes in it.
Yeah, this is the one that definitely seems to transcend the genre the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that I feel like abandons its roots and says, "No, we're gonna make an awesome movie,"
Yeah.
and who cares about the minutia beyond that? And it was incredible. And I will say the other big thing is, as somebody who has been a geez, since the first issue of her own comic came out, Laura slash X-23 fan, like
Mm-hmm.
seeing that on the screen was insane. It was crazy. You know, it was this character that has had some crazy ups and downs in the comics. At one point, she was on a spin-off, a Marvel team-up comic that was called The League of Losers, because it was the idea was it was a B team in a world where all the big superheroes died. It was all the C-list heroes that nobody cares about or doesn't have any comics anymore, comes in to save the day. And she's gone from that to where now she is, as I was talking about earlier, the all new Wolverine. She is the
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine that's in the universe. Uh, and she has the best role, I think, in this movie. And it,
And she's silent for most of it too,
yeah,
and totally holds her own against Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman's acting,
yeah.
being a silent character.
And then she punches him in the freaking face.
That's pretty good too.
Don't hit me. Yeah, Logan. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
And I'm like just barely talking about it here. I'm like, I need to watch this again, like right now.
I know. I want to go watch. I right now I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 again because we've talked it up enough where I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to go on that ride. And I want to see Logan, and I want to see Wonder Woman, and I want to see Spider-Man Homecoming.
And also Thor.
It's not out yet. It's been killing me. It doesn't
I
come
know.
out until the end of this month, and I'm
Digital on the 20th.
like counting down the days because I want to watch that movie again so badly.
Bye, new Doug.
Piss off, Ghost.
Oh, he disappeared.
Man, this was a fantastic year. I know we already said it, but I just can't believe how good all the superhero movies were this year.
Yeah.
And as a fan, like, again, we're at a point where we're talking about fatigue of this genre. And
but here we are loving everything that came out pretty much.
yeah, but then you look at it and you say, okay, well, last year there was only really one I didn't care about, and beyond that, I loved all of them. And that's not to say that it's going to be that way every single year, but you know, it's hard to say like, oh, this is so terrible what they're doing with these films when
Yeah.
they're still nailing entire years of movies like this.
Exactly. And I mean, 2018 's starting to look good too. I mean, we've got 2 movies. I mean, one next week, and then Avengers coming in May, and right away they both look like they're going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I am worried about Avengers because it seems like so much, but who knows? I really hope it's good.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of those things. Is it gonna be too much? Where it's funny with what, just 6 characters, Justice League had too much in it, but the first Avengers movie worked out really well. Civil War worked incredibly well.
Yeah,
but I mean, are they going to be able to keep that sort of thing together with such a larger cast? So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
One thing that we need to talk about this because it came out today. I don't know if I'm gonna really want to enjoy or partake in Venom.
Yeah, I know the page I'm on right now. There's just this Venom first trailer unleashes Tom Hardy as the twisted anti-hero.
You have seen the preview for it, right?
Yeah, I have. That is not how you sell me on a Venom movie.
No. Rule number 1: show Venom.
Yes. It is 100% the most important part.
Yeah. Number 2, what the hell?
Yeah, maybe establish a story so that when I show it to my parents, which I didn't do in this case, my parents typically use me as the trailer boy. I will visit
boy.
I'll visit their house and they're like, "What movies are coming out?" And I show them a bunch of trailers and they get excited about them, and then they forget that they're coming to theaters, and it's part of the reason why I can't wait for Thor Ragnarok to come out on home video because they totally missed it. But
oh no!
I kept reminding them, didn't happen. But anyway, I didn't show them this one because if you don't know anything about Venom, this trailer means nothing to you.
And if you know something about Venom, it means nothing to you.
Yeah, maybe a little more than the nothing that the other people get, but not much.
You kind of see symbiote in a glass container for about a split second.
Yeah, but you don't, like, what kind of character is Eddie Brock in this? What's going on with his life? What's going on in the world? What kind of hero? Is he going to be a hero? Is he going to be a villain? Is this a monster movie? Like, I know nothing about this movie. And
seriously, I have no idea how they can even do this without Spider-Man in it.
I know it's supposed to be a teaser, and a case can be made that, well, it teased. But
not in a good way.
Yeah, you should be excited. Like, a tease should be at least a little exciting, and this was not exciting at all. It just made me angry.
Yeah. But anyways, that is for next year's 2018 superhero recap. We'll figure out if it's any good at that point.
Should one of us decide to take a vacation, we'll talk about it.
Yes, exactly. But in the meantime, until next episode, when we return to your regularly scheduled type of show, John, where can people find you?
Oh, you're not getting off that easy. We got to rank them.
Oh, damn it. I was hoping you would forget.
No.
Okay, well, bottom of the tier, Justice League.
Yeah, that's not going to surprise anybody. It's the only one we were really upset about.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. So there are 7 movies that we're counting for this.
Yeah. Oh my god. I can't really do the rest of them, John.
Nope. You just gotta play the do I like this one better than this one until you get to the bottom.
Okay.
What's next for you? What's number 6?
Number 6. It's gonna have to be Lego Batman. Like, as much as I like it, the other ones were better.
Mine's Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Nothing wrong with that.
But again, put an asterisk next to that as far as my opinion goes. If at some point I volunteer my opinion around you, don't say, but you said, because I do think it might be better than that. I would probably put it there for now.
Oh, I'm having a hard time, John.
I can give my number 5 right now. So
yeah, go ahead. It's probably Lego Batman, right?
A little bit of time. Yeah, it's Lego Batman. So that one was easy. I really love Lego Batman, but...
Okay, well... Oh, it's like it's it's got to be Guardians because the others I can't put. No, I can't put Guardians above them. But I love that movie so much though.
That's the point, and keep in
I know.
mind it's not losers at this point.
I know.
It's all winners, but you're right.
So basically, 6 forward is all winners.
Yeah, we are now to the point for me, and I mean, I love Lego Batman as well, but we're now to the point for me where it's like, I don't know. How are you supposed to pick these?
So then, John, a tie for first, or no, a tie for second would be Thor, Spidey, and Wonder Woman.
We're not getting off that easy. You got to pick one at each level. Not giving you a pass.
Okay, then for me, it's going to be Wonder Woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're...
Again, love it, but...
Your number 4 is Wonder Woman.
Number 4 is Wonder Woman.
My number 4...
You got this, John. Come on, you can do it.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said it.
It's not even in my top 3. I can't believe it. I love Spider-Man. Wow. But it just...
But, I mean, the villain and everything just... Well, then again, you know what? That last fight is kind of rough to watch sometimes.
Yeah, my issues with Spider-Man, we talk about it in depth in the episode where we talk about it. I think the action scenes were filmed exceptionally badly, which basically makes most of the time he's being Spider-Man a little hard to watch, but especially in the last fight. And
I will say, though, on home video, it looks a lot better than it did in the theater.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, but even so, it's still not.
And I do, again, we're talking about a movie I love, but, and I hate, and the people I know that don't like this movie use this as their point of not liking the movie. So I hate to say it because I feel like it gives them credence. It's just, it's still there for me. It's just not that big of a deal where it is for them. Mm-hmm. And that is, I could have probably used a little less tie-in to the Marvel Universe overall.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so moving forward, that's number 4. So now it's number 3. Go ahead, because I'm fighting right now.
Thor Ragnarok for me.
Really? Okay.
It's there simply because I cannot put it ahead of the other 2.
And for me, I think it's Spider-Man.
Oh, man.
Which I didn't think I could do.
I feel like Peter Parker is, like, watching us right now just shaking his head in disgust.
No, a single tear is rolling down. It's like, oh.
You guys said you were my fans.
So then for me, that means, because we both know what number 1 is, but so that means number 2 for me would be Thor, and for you would be Wonder Woman.
Yes.
All right.
And then number 1, Logan, for those who aren't keeping track of math or things we said earlier.
Yep. Yeah. So then I guess that means with that, John, where can people find you?
Hey, if you want to hear more from me, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. I will let you know what I'm up to, the trouble I'm getting into. I would also point you to heroesforyou.com, where you can catch Core, which is the Heroes of the Storm podcast I do, part of the Frog Pants Network. But also part of that network is There Will Be Dungeons, which is a Dungeons and Dragons show that I do. We record that live every Saturday. And you should check it out live. But if you can't, therewillbedungeons.com has all the details you need.
Good.
Ben.
Seriously, listen to it. It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Dude, butt spiders.
There were butt spiders, and they got stabbed. I didn't get attacked by a single spider, which is probably good, because I didn't want a spider to touch me.
Yep. When your reaction when you found out about them, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but like, oh, we're dealing with giant spiders. Aim my head towards the ground and jump off this cliff. Just like make sure it ends very quickly. Yep. It's rough. But what I do, did you see too that we found a website where you can create custom minis?
Oh yeah, I found that website before. I was thinking of ordering one before I saw you guys doing stuff.
The site's so cool. I made my character and he looks like my character. I'm excited. Anyway.
You just need a megaphone.
Yeah, I gave him a horn. He's got a horn on the side of his belt because that's as close as I could get.
Good enough.
Yeah, it was good enough for government work, which is what he does. So
exactly.
It's accurate. Ben.
Yes, John.
Where can people find you?
The best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ben the Mage. I also do a show with Aludra called Battle Pets, where we talk about battle pets in the World of Warcraft. Also, make sure to check out my YouTube page. Just do a search for Ben Bumhofer, because guess what? I'm not cool enough to have my own link yet. But the newest episode of Ben vs. Never is up, and I realize that this is now going to be 2 weeks from now. So, well, either way, the newest episode will be up, so check it out. We're really close to finishing up Super Mario World, John.
Nice.
And that game's fun.
That's a pretty good game.
Definitely. This show, when we actually do talk about World of Warcraft, make sure to check us out. We are on Twitter at AzerothRT. And all of our episodes, if you're more Warcraft inclined, check those out at AzerothRoundtable.com and also on iTunes, Stitcher, sometimes, I guess, maybe, TuneIn, and Alpha Geek Radio. We're all over the place, wherever you can find, podcast content and stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to tell us your rankings or tell us how wrong or right we are, you can always send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. And we'll read them and either say, yeah, that's true, or no, you're wrong. That's about it.
I mean, I feel like we have two very definitive lists.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, hey, folks, that's going to do it for our, I guess it's not really a bonus show, our supplemental show. That's the word I'm looking for.
Good enough.
I'm sure last week we recorded a fantastic episode that was all about World of Warcraft.
Yep, with Ted Semi.
And, yep, I'm sure he was there.
No, he is. He's confirmed for the future /past.
It was so shocking what he said.
Oh, I know. And that thing.
Oh, and the time he nearly died.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, but that's not spoilers because you heard it last week.
True.
So we're just recapping at this point. Anyway, we'll be back next week with World of Warcraft talk. In the meantime, hey, everybody, patreon.com/AzerothRT. That's how you support this nutty thing that we do. And we want to say a special thank you to our newest members, Haster.
As of 2 weeks ago.
And Marcus O. Thank you for being patrons. Yep, and good point. Like, this list is, I see what you're saying.
It's outdated for now. Well, no, it's not outdated. I don't know. Whatever. Just keep reading.
We thank all the patrons at the time of this recording, which we've established was recorded some time ago. So,
but it's right now. It's weird.
There's no need to pretend like we're live because we've already acknowledged that we're not. Anyway, a thank you to the Murloc Club, Haster, Mimi H, and Alicia A, Aaron, and Simon. Thank you for being part of the Murloc Club. Ben, if you would. Yep, the Murloc Club. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said, right?
Oh, of course.
Great. And, thank you to all the patrons. If you want to join them, patreon.com/AzerothRT.
Yep. Again, thanks for joining us on this wacky, crazy adventure known as Azeroth Roundtable. John, if you had to have some sort of superhero power, really quick, what would it be?
Am I getting just one, or can I pick?
You get just one.
You go first, because you put me on the spot.
No, you need to go first.
I do?
Yes. Okay, mine would be to know when to cut people off and shut down the show. Bye. And I stopped it.
The next episode should start with me going, flying.
No. That's how we'll introduce you tomorrow, and then people won't know what we're talking about.
Oh, mine's still recording. People heard that. We're not doing that.
Crap.